This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. I lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice.
Welcome back to episode 4 of Road to Special Olympics 2026 USA Games, a Special Chronicles podcast series. I'm your host, Daniel Smikowski, founder of Special Chronicles, a Special Olympics athlete leader with Team Illinois, and a former Southern Striver global messenger with Special Olympics. If you want to follow these athletes and over 3,000 athletes on their journey, follow them on the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games app. Just search USA Games on the iPhone or Android app stores. On this podcast series, where we highlight the athletes, families, and communities shaping the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games right here in Minnesota. I'm your host, Daniel Smikowski, and today's episode is all about something every athlete needs: a support system. Behind every competitor is a network of people who cheer, coach, and encourage and believe in them. Today, we're talking with a few of those people: a coach who's preparing athletes for the national stage, a family member who's been there through every practice, every challenge, and every breakthrough, and a staff member from Team Illinois. Now that we've set the stage for today's episode, it's time to hear from someone who plays a crucial role in every athlete's journey: the coach. As Minnesota prepares to host the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games, coaches across the nation are helping athletes train, grow, and believe in what's possible. Let's step into that world and hear from one of the people guiding athletes toward the national stage. Wait now.
This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
Special Chronicles presents Road to Special Olympics 2026 USA Games. Real athletes, real stories, real moments from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. Follow the full 10-part series at specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games. That's specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games. On this episode, we are talking about the support system, and we are welcoming Coach Matt Corso, who is head coach for bowling for Team Illinois. Please put your virtual hands together as we welcome Matt finally on Special Chronicles.
Nice. I like all that cheering.
Yes. Usually I've got a different sound effect, but good to have you on the program. And we were talking in the pre-show that we're trying to think if you were on the program in the past, but possibly. I want to just before we dive into coaching for bowling for Team Illinois, I want to just kind of let our listeners in on how we first got connected, which was, so I've been, even before competing in Special Olympics, I've been involved with CSPO for many, like I had a lot more hair back then, very and young. I think in like the day camp back when I was that age, but we first got connected. And I think in high school I did one of the activities that you led, where you picked us up, and then we did different activities. And so that's how we first got connected. So why don't you, maybe just tell our listeners briefly about what CSPO is, and then that's not the focus of the interview, but just to kind of let our listeners know just a little bit about your day job.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it is my day job. Yeah, I'm the executive director of CSPAR, and CSPAR is an acronym for a really long name. I'm not gonna; it's too long. But we basically we are a special recreation association, and we offer recreation programs to residents of 13 communities with disabilities. And that includes, obviously it includes Special Olympic sports, but we also, matter of fact, today is our first day of day camp, summer day camp, which I think you did, Danielle, at some point in your life. Yeah. We do lots of other programs, social clubs. We work cooperatively with other service providers. We do regular weekly programs, special events, Cubs games, Sox games, stuff like that. We do big trips and camps and things like that. So we basically offer lots of different recreation programs. So any kind of a program that a park district would offer, we offer a similar type of program. But again, specifically tailored toward individuals with special needs, so we can cater to all the needs of our friends and be very inclusive. And our programs happen out in the community as well, so we are not any type of a kind of a workshop thing. We actually run our programs throughout all of our communities that we serve, so we are out and about. Our vans are out and about all the time, and we love what we do.
Awesome. So now let's switch gears to the focus of the interview today about USA Games. So tell us, because some people might be listening to the audio podcast, some might be watching on YouTube, or I just figured out how to upload video podcasts on Spotify. So I think with any luck, people can watch this on YouTube or Spotify. And tell us your name, what sport you're coaching at the USA Games, and where you're from.
Sure. My name again is Matt Corso. I'm the head coach for bowling for Team Illinois. We have 8 bowlers this year, and then there's also an assistant coach, Darlene Baker, who will be with me as well.
Awesome. And you've been coaching athletes preparing for the 2026 USA Games, as you just said. And to begin with, describe your coaching philosophy when it comes to supporting athletes beyond just the performance.
Sure. I would say I don't judge any athlete's success by medals or anything like that. We certainly work hard to improve their skills and their performance, but my goal is ultimately just to help the athletes grow in confidence, independence, and resilience. Sports is awesome because sports really provide opportunities to learn a lot of life skills like teamwork, communication, even like handling success, but also disappointment. And I just want every athlete to just feel valued, feel supported, and know that they're capable of anything that they put their minds to. And again, I'm not worried about their medals or anything like that. I just want them just to have a good time and to gain a lot of living skills to help them be successful outside of sports. Awesome.
I want to just touch one quick thing you said on developing confidence. Yesterday, I was looking on a script for a new Special Olympics International has a video series that they're going to be, I think, working on this year. And they asked us to, I'm going to pull up my notes here. They asked us to talk about one tough thing because of our intellectual disability and how Special Olympics has helped us with that. And the one, without giving any spoilers, the one tough thing that I shared, that I'm going to share, is about confidence and how kids made fun of me growing up in school, and then Special Olympics helped to kind of develop that confidence into the communicator that I am today. And so so I'm glad that you talked about that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I absolutely 100%.
Yeah. Awesome. So, moving on, preparing for a national competition is a very big deal, different than at the local level, at the local state level. What does that preparation for this national competition look like for you and your team as you prepare for the 2026 USA Games?
Sure. For our team specifically, we met 3 times. One of them was over a training weekend. So on that particular weekend, we actually got to practice 2 days. So really, we've practiced 4 times together, which doesn't sound like a lot of practice, but there is what the challenge is all of our bowlers come from throughout the entire state of Illinois. So from a convenience standpoint, it is kind of hard to kind of get us together on a weekly basis or whatever. But really, they all know how to bowl. That's one reason why they got picked. So for me, I worked really on fine tuning their skills. But I also talked a lot about what to expect throughout their experience there. Bowling, competing at the national level is really unique, and it's conditions that they're not going to be used to. They're going to have lots of strangers kind of around them. They're going to be in a different bowling alley. There's going to be a big audience and lots of noise and people taking pictures and stuff like that. So we talked a lot about that. They're also going to be bowling every day. So they're going to be bowling 5 days in a row, which they may not be used to doing. So I talked a lot about, and I've given them a lot of tools to help them be physically fit and just kind of get ready for that grind. So, again, I gave them like training routines, focusing on just eating well, lots of walking, basic workouts, and those. And I also gave them some specific ways that they can practice bowling as well, kind of tailored toward their style. So I did give them that as well too. So really my goal is just to ensure that that they're going to be prepared, they're going to be supported, and that they'll be excited for that opportunity.
Awesome. As you know, every athlete has moments when we struggle. How do you recognize when someone needs extra support, whether it's mentally, emotionally, or physically? How do you recognize that struggle?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question, because this is very important, especially since we're going to be together like 24/7 for over a week. So one of the most important parts of coaching is just really getting to know each of the athletes individually. And every athlete communicates differently, so I need to pay attention to their, any changes in behavior, body language, their energy levels, just how they're engaging and talking and stuff. So, if I see them get a little bit quieter than normal, maybe they're a little bit frustrated kind of more easily, they seem less confident. If I see those signs, I'm just going to check in. I'm going to listen to them, and I'm going to work with them. I'm going to work with them just to identify what support that they might need at that time. In a lot of cases, just listening and showing that you are there for them, showing that you care for them is going to be a big difference, and it's going to hopefully kind of, get them out of their funk, if kind of a weird word, but hopefully that'll just be enough to kind of bring them back, and they can just move forward. But that is definitely something that, especially when you're with the athletes all day, every day for a number of days, that's something that we're definitely going to have to keep, kind of keep an eye out for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I know, and I'm sure it's definitely different than and I know from competing at the local state level, with our coaches for only 3 days.
Yeah.
And this you're with the athletes for a week and a half. So yeah, different, whether it's the national or the international level, It's definitely a lot longer. Yeah. As you know, families is a big part of Special Olympics. Like I know for myself, my mom and my dad and my sisters and brother-in-laws and niece and nephew, all support. And so families play such a huge role in an athlete's journey. What does the strong partnership look like between coaches and families look like to you?
Yeah, strong coach-family partnership. It looks like really it's built on communication. It's built on trust and sharing goals as well too. Both their goals for their child or for family member, and our goals as well for them as well. So, their families know their athletes much better than we do, especially considering, again, I've never met any of these bowlers before. So it's my first time ever working with any of those 8. But their insight is very, very valuable. And that really helps us as coaches provide better support. And then after we're working with the athletes, again, coaches, based on communication, we just want to share their progress, share their successes, and tell them what we think they can do to help themselves as well too. So sometimes that outside perspective is also valuable. But it's so important for families and coaches to work together. Giving that consistent encouragement both from the coaches as well as from the family, just really gives them their best chance for success.
Awesome. I love that. And as we talked a little bit earlier about recognizing struggle, and along those same lines, as we talk about handling pressure, the pressure of a national stage can be really intense, as I think you talked about. How, as a coach, how are you helping your athletes manage that pressure and stay grounded? Sure.
Well, I've reminded them that they were selected for this opportunity for a reason, and it was because of their hard work and their dedication that they have already shown to the sport. They weren't just randomly chosen. They were chosen because they can handle everything that the games could throw at them. But we do focus on what we can control. And we just focus on supporting one another. They need to, try to ignore all the noise around them. And I just encourage athletes to enjoy the experience, as it can be potentially a once in a lifetime thing. So they may never be able to experience ever again. So to kind of just take it all in and try to have fun doing all the different things, even beyond just the sport, all the other things as well. And again, we'll celebrate their accomplishments, big and small, and just remind them why they were chosen again and why they love the sport. And I think doing all this just lessens that pressure. Sure. And honestly, at the end of the day, we just want them to have fun. So I'm just there just to kind of help them, foster them, just enjoying their time and creating lots of memories.
Awesome. Building upon what you said about helping your athletes have fun, that's something our chairman Tim Shriver wrote about in his book Fully Alive, and his son compared it to like going to Disney World, where the fun is just there for just that short time. Yep. But when you come to Special Olympics, it's the fun that lasts. And so building upon what you said and helping your athletes have fun and build memorable moments, share a moment with our listeners and viewers when you saw your support truly make a difference for an athlete.
Sure. I try to be, humble. And I recognize that really I'm just a tour guide for their life, so my goal is just to be there, support them, and help them enjoy their time. They do all the hard work, to be successful. But I do see some accomplishments that I think I help with somewhat. Some of them can just be with their skills, where I've had bowlers, when I've given them certain things to work on, that they have stated that working on those couple of things has helped them. for example, I have them practice just picking up spares, so one of the biggest things one of the best ways to improve your average is just getting more spares. You can get strikes all day long, and that's great, but just getting those like spares, even 1 or 2 more spares can make a 20 to 30 pin difference of your average, So I've had a couple of bowlers have told me through this process that they have seen an improvement just getting spares and different ways to pick up spares, and just like talking about it has been helpful. So I think I've seen some of that. And again, I just want to foster them just having fun, enjoying the moment, and just not being hard on themselves. Just again, enjoy the moment, and forget about the last frame that you just threw. If it was a bad frame, if you didn't do what you wanted, just forget about it. Just work on, just move forward. And I think all of that, I think has made a difference.
Awesome. I love that. Before we get to the final question, finally, coaches need support too. So you talked about in the past 18 minutes about giving support for your athletes that you're coaching. Who's in your corner as you prepare for the 2026 Special Olympic USA Games?
That's a good question. I guess my number one supporter is my wife, Beth. She allows and encourages me to take the time to do this. She herself is a longtime coach. She's been a coach at World Games as well as lots of state competitions. So she totally knows, the whole grind of it as well. My daughter is also very supportive as well. She herself has volunteered at numerous Special Olympics events as well. So she, gets it as well. Besides that, just my work and staff here at CSPAR have all been very supportive. Other coaches, volunteers, families, and I think the Special Olympics staff, the Special Olympics Illinois staff, have also been very, very supportive as well. And this is a big deal for them as well too. So again, I've got lots of different people that if I've got any questions, concerns, or just need someone just to talk to, I've got lots of different people. And ultimately, the athletes themselves, I think, is a source of inspiration and motivation. So again, just seeing them enjoying their time is a big support for me as well. And I think if I see them doing a good job, then I guess I think I'm doing all right.
Awesome. So we got one final question because we of course we want to listeners to hear your story, but even more than that, we want just like at CSPAL, inclusion and inclusion revolution is a big part of Special Olympics. So we want to leave our listeners with a call to action to bring inclusion into the communities, into the towns, into the workplaces, schools. And so this final question will help our listeners to do just that. And so we've got to let's go ahead and roll the bumper to introduce the final question.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising. Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference.
Difference.
Our demands are
Equality.
Dignity.
And the recognition of our
shared humanity. We will not stop
or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
more divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution
is inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
So just like I've been doing ever since I came back from the 2019 World Games, been asking this final question because it helps our listeners to bring inclusion and in fact next month I will be compiling all the on this USA Games series, your answer as well as when I'm on location in Minnesota. I'm going to ask you people this same question and then edit all the responses to this question into one episode of what inclusion means. So that's going to be a way to cool, little different episode than people are used to coming up next month. So you all can stay subscribed and follow so you not miss that. But I'll ask you, Matt, what does inclusion mean to you?
It means so much. Really, inclusion means just creating environments where everyone feels welcomed, valued, respected, and everyone is given the opportunity to fully participate. So it's not just simply being like there and being present. It's belonging, and every athlete deserves a sense of belonging and being a part of a team, regardless of their ability level. Just to kind of further that, inclusion means recognizing and celebrating individual strengths and focusing on what athletes can do, not what they cannot do. It's a focus on what they can do. Every person really should have a chance to contribute, to connect, and to succeed. And inclusion at the end of the day really just creates stronger teams, stronger communities, and again, just experiences where everybody has an equal chance to thrive.
Awesome. That's a perfect way to wrap up this episode. Is there anything that I may have missed about coaching and USA Games that you want to share?
No, I can't think of much more. I mean, we're about a week and a half away from leaving, give or take. So we're just kind of getting geared up and ready to go. This upcoming weekend is Summer State Games. Yep. So we almost have back to back. Some of the athletes will be at Summer State Games as well. So you're going to go wait for Summer State Games and coaches, and then come back for a few days, and then leave for Minnesota. But we're all just excited and ready to go.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. And it's I lost my train of thought, but it doesn't doesn't even matter. It's just thank you so much, Matt, for taking the time to come on the program, and we'll have to talk about off-field of a 2 or 3 podcast series around the C-Spell's 50th anniversary, because that's some exciting news happening this year. So thank you again. And for those, thank you all for listening to Special Olympics 2026 USA Games, a Special Chronicles podcast series. Real athletes, real stories, real moments from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. You can follow the athletes and find out a lot more if you download the 2026 USA Games app on iPhone or Android. And as well as you can catch every episode of the 10-part series at specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games. That's specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games. And I remembered, Matt, what I was going to say, and that is this episode is actually going to drop the week that we are in Minnesota. So our listeners can stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and share it with someone who believes in the power of support. And again, specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games. Scan the QR code above or click the link in the description below. So you can listen, watch, subscribe, follow, and do all that. And join us next time as we continue to highlight the incredible athletes and communities preparing for the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games. I'm your host, Daniel Smokowski. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode. And remember, choose to include.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
Hearing the coach's perspective really highlights how much intention and heart goes into preparing athletes for the Special Olympics USA Games. But the support system doesn't end at practice or competition. It continues at home. Families are often the first cheerleaders. the steady encouragers, and the ones who walk alongside athletes through every high and low. So now let's shift to the family side of the story and hear what this journey looks like from their perspective with my good friend and the mother of Cathy O'Neill, Cathy O'Neill.
This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
Special Chronicles presents World to Special Olympics 2026 USA Games. We are athletes, we are stories, we are moments from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. Follow the full 10-part series at specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games. That's specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games. Or scan that QR code right above on the screen. On this episode, we are talking about the support system, and we are welcoming Cathy O'Neill, who is a family member whose daughter, Katie, is an athlete competing in gymnastics for Team Illinois. Can I say that the best team? Well, we're an independent platform, so I can say the best team. Please put your virtual hands together as we welcome Cathy on finally on Special Chronicles. Welcome, Cathy.
Hello.
So it's good to finally have you on the program. I know your daughter has been on a couple times already. So she already has a 2-time guest, and now you're a 1-time guest.
Yay! I'm honored.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that you agreed to come on, because on this podcast series, this World to Special Olympics 2026 USA Games, we really want to, as I was telling you in the pre-show, we really want to highlight not just powerful athlete stories. I mean, that's first. There's a reason why Katie and the other athletes episode is dropping before this episode, but the support system of whether it's families or coaches or staff is right behind is always behind the athlete. And so there's a particular reason why we thoughtfully are putting this episode behind the athlete's episode, just for that reason. But before we get into the reason why we're having you on, share with our listeners, and then we'll get into your family role in just a moment. But just take our listeners back to how we got connected.
Well, I think we just got connected. Katie joined Special Olympics maybe about 8 years ago now. I don't remember exactly when we met you, Daniel, but we were so grateful, and you are so vibrant and fun and easy to talk to, and such a good role model that I knew I wanted my daughter to meet you and talk to you and learn from you. Awesome. And it's ever since, it's like, it's always a joy to see you. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah. Same thing with you and Katie. Now let's shift to the family perspective. And this is something that if our listeners, I do not know which off the top of my head, which order that this, I think this, okay, yeah, I think that this segment is airing in the middle. And so right before your episode, I believe our listeners would have just heard the coach perspective.
Okay.
I believe. And then and then just after this, our listeners will hear the staff perspective. And something that both the coach and the staff perspective have both highlighted is family support, of how coaches work with families. So as we shift to this family perspective, first, thank you again for joining us on this podcast series. And to start off and kick off this interview segment, what does being part of your athlete, Katie's, support system mean to you?
Well, it means everything. As a mother, as a parent, my job is to make sure that she gets to where she needs to be. She's prepared mentally, physically, with everything she needs. And the joy I get to see as she has grown through Special Olympics and her life has grown and changed immensely, which means mine has. So I will continue to support her in any way I can to get her on the road to full independence and happiness, and just to live a very, very fulfilling life. So I'll continue to do it.
Awesome.
It's a lot of work, but you know what? It's so worth it. So
awesome. I'm gonna tone that around to just a quick inclusive pout that I think that in kind of drop that fourth wall of the studio to let our listeners know that just like you are helping Katie get to events, or sporting events, athlete leadership events, and all that to prepare for this podcast. Just like you helped Katie as an athlete, Katie was helping you to get into this studio and get set up. Just like I helped my dad and I helped my mom as well. So I think it works both ways. I don't know if our listeners can touch on that. But I don't know.
Katie's my technical advisor on everything.
So yeah, same thing with me with my parents. Yeah, I think the technical.
I told you this already. I'm like, you might have, but I don't remember. So
yeah, definitely. So I hopefully our listeners catching that well. Just like our parents, our family is that supporter. We're also that supporter for our parents. So it works. It's a two-way street, not a one-way street.
Right.
As you know, as we all know, and by the time our listeners hear this episode, we will all be in Minnesota. So the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games are happening right now, this week in Minnesota. As Minnesota is hosting these national games, how does that feel for you? How does that feel for your family, just overall?
We are beyond excited. We can't even believe it's finally here because we've known about it for over a year. And then the anticipation of hoping to be nominated prior to a year, I feel like it's been a couple of years in the making, and OMG, it's here. We can't believe it. We can't wait. We just can't wait to get there. And we know we're going to be blown away by everything there, and we're ready. Let's go. Let's do it already.
Awesome. Yeah. And just, I think before it was Team Illinois was announced to the public, I think Katie had even texted me just ahead of time that the big news. So it's neat to kind of hear about some of that exciting news even before it's announced to the public.
Privileged information, Daniel.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and even like with having a microphone in front of me, I'm also careful to not leak it on the.
It's so hard.
Yeah. I don't know if you can say pod waves, but instead of radio waves, pod waves.
Pod waves, for sure.
We just came up with that.
You better go in. What's the word where no one else can use it? I forget. Get a copyright it.
Yeah, the NDA,
non-discllosure. No, like copyright pod waves.
Oh, pod waves. Oh yeah, copyright pod waves. Yeah, that's what you say. Yeah, yeah. You know what? Let's.
That's our way to millions.
Yes. Before this episode drops, we should copyright pod waves. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. See, that's why I am so glad that some people like our friend Jose and stuff want us to live stream this, but there's a reason why we need to record and not go live.
Some secrets.
Yeah, some secrets. Yeah. So, building upon that family support that you said, as we look into training support, as you've seen your daughter Katie train and get ready in gymnastics with Team Illinois. Talk to our listeners about what that support looks like in your home during her training season. So she goes off to the. My sisters used to do gymnastics, so I'm not exactly sure what it's called. Gym. So after Katie goes to the gym and comes back home during this training season, this months and months of training for the 2026 USA Games, talk to our listeners about what the support looks like in your home during Katie's training season.
Well, basically, I'm the one that's always saying it's time to go to bed, drink water. Are you eating enough? Katie, don't forget to eat. I'm not hungry. It doesn't matter. You got to fuel your body. So I'm kind of the nag of the family to make sure she does everything she has to do. Laundry, get all of her leotards ready, all her workout clothes. Gymnasts have a bag of props that they have to bring with their grips and stuff. So do you have everything for practice? And so just basically that, and like, let's go, let's get there. And okay, now we got to go home. You got to go to bed when there's late practices, because she works full time too. So fitting it all in has been a challenge that we greatly welcomed. But yeah, so I'm just making sure she
does. I love that. And I think a lot of parents can probably relate to that, being even us adult athletes, of being that nag. Going kind of off script a little bit, kind of, but based on what you said about how she also works full time, and that you guys, you and Katie and your family are happy to fit this once in a lifetime. Well,
sure.
For most people, once in a lifetime. Can't say that for everybody, because I have known some athletes that have gone to USA Games a couple times. I know, lucky. To be fair, this one athlete that I know went one time with Team Illinois, and the next time went with Team Missouri. So to be fair, two different state programs. But anyways, with that, with her having a full-time job, I know, like for myself, having, in a way, two part-time, one United, one Special Chronicles. So, having two part-time, but it's just like Katie having a full-time job. So how has her employer been because like those, I mean, you can't necessarily stop your full-time day job. So how have they been inclusive and welcoming? Oh, maybe not, but how fit all this in?
Katie has been very lucky. She's had a couple full-time jobs. Right now, she's a paraprofessional at a school. So that means her hours are 7:30 in the morning till a little after 3. So they and training is in the evenings. So that's been no problem, and nothing on the weekends. In the summer, she works for the Cubs, and both places celebrate Special Olympics. They love to hear her stories. They love what she has to say. So it kind of is a perfect marriage of things. Without Special Olympics, she wouldn't be working full time. And where she works full time is learning about Special Olympics, and Katie's trying to spread the word and create awareness. So it's really a perfect situation.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. That's so awesome to hear how it's that perfect marriage. Yeah. I feel also lucky that between my jobs at Special Chronicles as well as United Airlines, both have been obviously fully supportive of. I mean, it's awesome that whether you have one full-time job or like in Katie in my both of our cases, where both jobs have been fully opening to Special Olympics, and I think that's what even if there's an athlete whose employer does not support Special Olympics, they should at least either get their employer to support, or maybe that's not the right place for them, and they need to find a company that does support Special Olympics. So definitely, love that. As we dive into the emotional journey, as you know, every family has emotional moments along the way, both in the gym, on the field, and off the field as well. Talk to our listeners about the most meaningful part of this journey for you, this journey of leading up to Special Olympics USA Games 2026 in Minnesota?
Okay. I would say Katie getting involved was emotional because we were so happy for her. But most of the emotion came after the fact when she became an athlete leader and she started giving speeches and telling her story. I struggle to not cry because it's like we're shocked that she's up there saying what she's saying and people are listening. It makes me want to tear up right now. And it doesn't stop because each thing gets better than the next. So the emotions for everybody involved, it's amazing because it's just like, okay, we're exactly where we need to be. This is getting her to where we eventually want her to be. But it's the competing. I cry when she competes. I cry when she does well. I cry if she falls. And then I cry during the speeches. And so it's
awesome. If I remember correctly, back in 2023 at the International Law Enforcement Torch Run Conference, I know I might not have been as talkative. I don't know if I was as talkative, only because I had just flown back I was at the same week when it was in Barcelona for a Coca-Cola photo shoot.
Pretty cool.
I might not, hearing from my dad, I probably wasn't as talkative as I should have been, but that was only because these two big opportunities.
Yeah. And we didn't really know you probably then either as much.
Oh yeah. So hearing back to hearing Katie as an athlete leader, that speech, like whether it's myself giving a speech or another athlete leader, it's so powerful hearing. I don't know if you want to comment on like that speech that she gave at the International Law Enforcement Torch Run Conference, because that was really, and I don't know if it's online. Maybe we can try to see if you want to send me that speech, because maybe we could try to include it in the show notes for this episode.
Okay. It's on YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube.
Katie O'Neill, Special Olympics, LETR. It's on YouTube. But we didn't even really know much about Law Enforcement Torch Run. It was still pretty early in Katie's journey, and we were blown away by that. And her giving that speech in front of, there were like over 3,000 people in that room. And then the big screens with her face, and like, it was just like, and then running with Tim Shriver Jr., holding the torch with him. Like the whole thing was just amazing. I cried for 5 days.
Awesome.
And we met all the police officers, and now they're like family, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, and speaking, I want to kind of touch on. I know we're kind of going off script a little bit, but Katie's joy for the LETL. I think she has a jean jacket with all the different. I don't know what you call it, the badges. Yeah. So, right before the Regency Polo Plunge, my local police department in
Grange.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll leave it at that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to give the exact town away for our listeners. I don't want random fans coming to my door. Yeah, the LaGrange area, we'll say. But a block from where the studio, where I live, is the local police department, and I went there to record a interview with a couple of our LETL police officers. And and I don't know if they told me this on air. They might have told me this off air. It might have been on. I don't know. It was one of those. You can go back in. I think it was February, March. No, it was March. It was March of this year.
Okay.
2026. And I think it's Take the Plunge, and
okay. I'm writing it down.
My local police. Now you guys are in Elmhurst, right? And so 2 different towns near each other, but 2 different towns. My local police department, they know Katie because they said, "Oh, your friend who always wears the jean jacket." so know that even across inter departments and even across LETL, Katie is making an impact.
Well, what it does, it's kind of, I didn't anticipate this. I don't know. Are you listening? I thought are you listening, Katie? Yeah. So, she just, that at the first conference, we collected all these patches and we're like, what are we going to do with them all? We didn't know it was a thing. And she's like, I got a plan. We bought a jean jacket. So we had them on. And every time she wears it, we go places, the cops that have given her patches want to know where their patches are. And then the ones that haven't given her patches are like, well, how come you don't have a patch of mine? I'll get you a patch. They've mailed them to us. And those patches are from around the world because of that conference. But we get more from around here because people see it. So it is really kind of fun.
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah, and even like looking at the airport, I went into, and I don't think it was like near the OETR conference. It was a different time, but there was an officer from, I want to say, Ireland that I went into.
Oh, cool.
And so, but yeah, it's, I have not collected those. I have a few badges, but I have not collected those. But what I have collected is pins from the World Games and the US, like in like Abu Dhabi and Berlin. Like I've got right on the other side of the camera here, you see, well, you don't see, but I see. I've got a whole bunch of lanyards, and one of those lanyards is from the World Games. And
so
with
cool.
It's neat. Like my girlfriend Georgia, I think, has like a bulletin board or like a case that she put all of her.
So cool. Katie
So
collects pins too. So you guys have to show each other your pins collection sometime.
We will, and maybe we'll have to do for this episode on the Instagram. Maybe we'll have to take a picture and so we can show our listeners all our pins. So maybe even in maybe by the end of Minnesota, we'll have to take a picture of all
She'll
pins.
get a bunch more there for sure. Yeah,
same here. So you guys all, if you're listening, stay tuned, and you can see all the pins that we all.
The pin reveal.
We will reveal. Let's not move into. We talk about family support, but let's move into the relationship that you and that Katie has with your coach, particularly not just the local coach, but the Team Illinois coach. Okay. Talk to our listeners about how that relationship with the coach has helped your athlete, has helped Katie grow as you prepare, as she prepares for these USA Games.
We are so grateful for our coach. Obviously, if she didn't start this team, we wouldn't be where we are. And then in particular, Katie got involved because of Katie did gymnastics in high school. She was on our high school team. No surprise, she wasn't one of the better gymnasts on her team. And after high school, she was following that coach on social media as he was helping people with Down syndrome do gymnastics. So she messaged him like, hey, can I help? And he's like, no, you can actually be an athlete. So that's how it all started. So we're grateful for him to have brought us to where we are. He still helps coach. And he's one that can really, if Katie's struggling on something, he can just be like, I tell him all the time, off the record here, just swear at her, make her laugh. That'll make her like comfortable and put her at ease. I can't do that. I'm like, please just do it. And then he did it and it's helped. So they have that kind of relationship where he knows kind of how to push her. So it's awesome. And then our head coach, again, if she didn't have him, we wouldn't be where we are. And so we're grateful for all of it so much.
Awesome. So awesome. Is that coach the same one that's coaching Katie for Team Illinois?
No,
or different?
We have a new coach from Team Illinois that comes from a different club, and she's been wonderful too. We see her like once a month, and there's two more coaches, and so one of them we knew before, but one's new, and things seem to be very good with them.
That's one of my coworkers, one of the other athletes that works at United. He competed in gymnastics at the Orlando USA Games, and I think his coach, like he has even went on vacations and traveled because of our travel benefits.
Yeah,
with his coach, and he I'm blanking on his name, but
Glenn. He's one of the coaches this year. So, and we've known him for a while, but he's awesome.
Yeah. So like, whether it's him or another coach, or even like, for myself with bocce or basketball, like my coaches, all of our coaches really that relationship that we build, whether it's 1 hour during practice, whether it's at the local level or now for Katie's now experience, whether it's coaching at the national level or even the international level, there's a documentary film that I've been an advisor on called All You Hear Is Noise. I don't believe it's been out to the public. I know a couple years ago it was going to other film festivals, but yeah, it's called All You Hear Is Noise. It follows 3 USA Special Olympics athletes in Minnesota. I led a panel discussion at a screening in Berlin. Very, very, very powerful because it talks about, before the game, during the games, and then after the games. But one of the I bring it up because one of the parts of this film, it highlights the relationship with the coach, and this is a triathlon team, so they're doing running, swimming, and cycling. And they, in the hotel room, what they did was the coach had them get put I think cold water in the bathtub, and they soaked their feet. And so it's that types of relationship that the coaches have with us athletes. So I know I went off
I don't care.
a little bit, but yeah, that film, All You Hear Is Noise. If you all go to specialchronicles.com, search for All You Hear Is Noise, you can find that panel discussion in Berlin. It's I should text that filmmaker and see when it's coming out, because it really should come out soon, because it's very, very, very powerful. And maybe when it does, we will dive more deeper into the themes and messages on this podcast.
For sure.
And so let's now kind of move into, as I think you sort of touched on a little bit, but all of us athletes handle nerves in different ways, and big competitions, not just at the local level, but now at this national level, big competitions come with big feelings. How are you helping your athlete? How are you helping Katie manage the whole nerves, manage pressure? Because it is a one-time opportunity, but how are you helping her manage this nerve and pressures of competing at the USA at these national games?
We are approaching this in that, of course, she wants to win. Of course, she wants that gold medal. She's working hard for it. But really, I think Katie has realized this is more an unbelievable once-in-a-lifetime experience. She wants to take it all in. She wants to do her best. She wants to win. But I'm preparing her for, if you don't win, if you don't get a gold medal, you're still there. Like, how cool is that? And just take it all in. So in doing so, hopefully that will alleviate some of the nerves, and at the same time, just put her at ease so that she can do her best. I mean, I think to get wrapped up in the, I want to win, I need a gold. And if you don't get the gold, then you're just disappointed and it's not worth it. Well, I think you'd be missing the whole point of this whole experience. So
I'm glad that you highlighted that, because it goes back to what our athlete oath is. Right. Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. It doesn't. I think all the time, whether it's our families or our coaches or staff, always remind us, and even athletes among ourselves, we remind each other that it doesn't matter if we win. It just matters if we're brave in the attempt. And I think that's a big message that we have, and Katie has, and that whether you're competing at the USA Games, whether you're there as an athlete leader, whether you're there as media, whatever role as an athlete, whether it's on the field or off the field, that I think we are, Katie and myself and the thousands of other athletes going to Minnesota, already on this national stage, showing the world just what it means to live that athlete oath. It's not just an oath that we say at the beginning of our competition, but it's an oath that this is how professional athletes, this is how college, high school athletes how just adult athletes competing on a local, they can follow our example, not just being on a podium, but like actually how to not just win, but how to be brave in the attempt.
Be good, and then I wish somewhere in the oath there'd be like, and be a good person too. Like, don't be nasty. Katie loves to cheer on her competitors, and like we're all in this together. We've all put in the work. Like I think there's a huge lesson in that everybody in the world could learn. Yeah, absolutely. And when I went to college, I took. I was still competing, but I took a year off. And during that year that I took off from competing, I still like my friends still played on a basketball team, and I went and I took pictures, not on this camera, but like on a big other camera, not only just to take pictures, but also to cheer on my team. And I think that's just like what Katie does. That's a big thing of what we like to do is, even if we were not able to compete, we still go not only volunteer, but also to cheer on our teammates and friends, and although not only the same team, but other teams. Right. Across, right. So, and I'm sure when Katie is not competing, she'll be probably cheering on other teammates. I think that's a big part of the experience. It'll be fun to go to the different venues and see some of the other sports. Well, and speaking of that, if you guys are looking for things to do, I know I just found out that I think you got, or at least the athletes are taking a coach bus. But if you were to fly to Minnesota, there's honestly, even if you don't fly, the in-flight magazine, it's now digital, so it's online. Okay. Shared a link on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook to this. How to take an accessible trip to Minneapolis. So I had a FaceTime call with my uncle, did a whole bunch of research, and found out like all the things that you could do outside of the competition. So if you're looking for things to do, I will try to send you that off air. If you and anybody else is looking for things to do. And also if you all listening, you scan that QR code, go to specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games, click on the blue button that says Minneapolis, and that will take you directly to the article. So I don't even have to send it. You can just very easily click. Perfect. Click on let's now move, because we've now been talking for half an hour. That's what happens when you kind of go off script a little bit, but I get it. It's fine. Let's talk about celebrating growth, because that's a big part of this movement. Talk about, for your athlete, for Katie, what growth have you seen in Katie as she prepares for these 2026 USA Games? It's exponential. It's ridiculous how much she has learned and how she has grown in terms of preparing for this and knowing what she needs to do, and listening to her body and trying to help others to learn what she's learned. A big part of us is everything that we have learned, we just want to share with everybody, which is why the whole athlete leadership thing is awesome, because she gets to tell her story. We want more and more people to be able to do that, to be able to learn from what we've learned. And now being on this national stage, we're just telling more people, this is awesome. Get your kids involved in this. Look at what Katie used to be to what she is now. It's night and day. Speaking of, I want to highlight something that you said of helping other athletes other people with. Yes, my dad is shouting at the. I don't feel like pausing this. See, that's a family support. No, letting each other know where we are. Okay, so let's tell your dad I said hi. He can't hear you because of the headphones. But yeah, okay. So with that, I want to touch on something that you said about letting other athletes. I mean, other families to get their
son or daughter with an intellectual disability involved in Special Olympics. I am hopefully before USA Games. I was asked from Special Olympics International to do this video. They're I guess putting together a video series this year about one tough thing. Of what's one tough thing that you've experienced because of your intellectual disability, and then how has being involved in Special Olympics helped that. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I'm bringing this up because I think it helps to highlight of what you said. And one of the big tough things, and my mom helped me to kind of come up with some notes together with AI.
Cool.
And that is confidence, because a lot, just like I'm sure Katie has had, me growing up from school, like I would come home from school in tears.
Yeah.
Like in high school, I had this mental health depression in high school, and because kids would make fun of the way I talked, made fun of the way that I dressed, and
So
particularly making fun of the way that I talked and stuff. That, just like I'm sure Katie understands, I and others with intellectual disabilities can't help the way, like, it's just a part of who we are.
Right.
But and so that one, so if to kind of sum this all up, if it wasn't for, and just like Katie, like I didn't get involved in Special Olympics until in my teen years, because we didn't know that I could compete. So that's what I think, if more families, just like you said, can know to get their son and daughter involved, even if they're not athletic. Like I wasn't that into sports, but have a big part is because I knew that I could make friends, I could get fit, and then I developed that. And so even if you're not, there's a lot more to this movement, into the Special Olympics movement, that I think more people shouldn't realize, that starts on the field, it goes off the field so much.
One of the things that Katie says in her speeches is, I might not look like it, but I have intellectual disabilities. And so you were saying a roadblock or something that's kind of been in her way is, people have different expectations if you look a certain way, and you disappoint people if they don't know that you have intellectual disabilities. So I think just throwing that out there, like, hey, I don't look like it, but I do. And so that should just lower some expectations for people, but it should also make other people feel good. Like, oh, okay, wow. And then that opens people's minds to Special Olympics is so inclusive of so many, I don't want to say disabilities, but intellectual disabilities or special needs, or, and I think that's where Katie tries to help. Like, now I'm hearing myself.
Oh, is it better?
Now it's better. Yeah. So I think that's been a roadblock, but then that has also opened some doors. So, and I think sometimes she likes to say now she just owns her disabilities and she uses them to her benefit, and to teach other people, like, that's okay if you have a disability. You can learn to adapt, and you can learn to grow and achieve and do awesome things. So
awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Let's now move into family sacrifices, and because there's I'm sure behind the scenes that, and you don't have to get too personal, but just to kind of, again, let that fourth wall down. And that's why we try to be as realistic as possible on this, because I think that's when we're able to kind of let that fourth wall down and be realistic. That's how our listeners, our viewers can relate. And then once they relate, then they can better get involved in Special Olympics. And so families, as you know, often make many sacrifices behind the scenes. Talk about to our listeners about the sacrifices that your family has made to support your athletes, to support Katie's goals.
Okay. The first and maybe the most obvious is that I'm lucky that I don't work. My husband has a very good job and he supports all of us. And so if I were to go to work, I would love to have a job, actually. Love to have a job. But when would I be able to work? Because I'm driving to practices and we're doing all this stuff. I love it. And it's all helping Katie to get better. So someday I'll become more relevant. Someday I'll have a job again once we make sure she's fully independent. So I guess that's a sacrifice that oftentimes I overlook, but that's a huge sacrifice too. So, and I think that's why we want to help so many other people too, to just, like, maybe there's an end to all this or not. I don't know. So that's a huge sacrifice that I'm willing to do.
Awesome. I love that. And I'm sure other parents can relate to that too, whether they don't work, or even if they do, even if both parents do work, they'll still, I'm sure that they'll still sacrifices too. Moving on to giving advice to other families. This is something that I know both my dad and even my mom. I know in right before we started recording, I made a note of this because I want just to highlight one particular story, and we don't have time to kind of share a lot of stories, but of my mom and I were on the phone with the mom of another athlete in Illinois, because that's where we all live. And so the best team at the USA Games, Team Illinois. Oh, can I say that?
Yes.
We're an independent platform, so people are not telling us what we can and can't say. So, yeah. With that, we were giving, particularly my mom, but we were giving advice. She was giving advice to another mom to get his son involved in Special Olympics, and then he has since competed in a few sports, and so that's a big thing, that whether it's my mom, whether it's my dad, even at the last USA Games, I'll give another quick example, and then I'll turn it over to you, Kathy. But the last USA Games, one of my coworkers at United was volunteering with our employer, and her daughter Bella is, I don't know if you ever met Bella,
I don't think so.
Crash, but she's I think she's like up in the northern region, but anyways, she her daughter, so her mom, Christine, saw an Illinois athlete speak at the when United and Special Olympics partnership started. And then so she kind of saw some athletes there, and then she got to know me and the other service ambassadors at United, and then she brought her daughter down to the USA Games. Her daughter saw athletes competing at the last USA Games and saw and said, "These are my people. This is, and then since then she became an athlete, and then within two quick months after becoming an athlete, she became an athlete leader. So she kind of fast tracked just because of how powerful this movement is. Yeah. And so that, and even that, my dad was talking with her mom, and we got her connected with, at the time Michelle was with the region that this athlete was in. And so that's, my dad was talking with, and even at the last one of the athlete leadership trainings, my dad was giving advice to Bella's mom. And so my dad has done it. My mom has given advice as well. And so before we get to the final question, because this is the second to final question, share with the listeners, just kind of a couple of those stories that I just shared. I'm going to turn it over to you, Kathy, to share with our listeners, share with our viewers, advice that you would give to other families supporting athletes on a journey like this. What advice will you give to other families? If you want to share a little story, you can do that.
I tell everybody, absolutely get involved. I tell everyone where to go, what the website, who to sign up with them. I give them Michelle's number. I give them who's ever number. And then I tell them, not to everyone, but you can tell the people that could be an athlete leader, and you can tell that they would be good at it and they would grow at it. And even within the athlete leadership, there's so many different levels of things that people can do. So pretty much everybody could do it. And And I just say you can almost do something every day. With some of the SRAs, there's a different sport every day. Maybe take one at a time and get your feel for it, get to know the coaches, get to know the other people, and it kind of just takes off. And then I always say, like, and do everything within it. If you go into the summer games, do the dance, do the parties, do the luncheon or the dinner and stuff, so that you're meeting more families than just your individual little team. And encourage everybody to do the same. Don't stay within your own little bubble, because I feel like that's when it really blossoms. The more, when would we have ever met Daniel Smirkowski? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so cool that we do know you now, and like this organization brought us all together. And that's and you're part of what makes it even better. It's not just your team. That's what I mean. So get involved with everything. Get involved with everyone. And if you wind up doing too much, then you ask for someone to help drive or whatever. You know, we're always hoping to. So.
Like speaking of like helping to drive, my girlfriend Georgia, like whether it's my mom or whether it's her mom, like we'll drive each other, or my co-worker Lowen, like we'll help drive each other to summer games or athlete leadership, and that's. We'll kind of wrap up this second final question with a nice little bow that this movement, the Special Olympics movement, it's much, everything that you've shared, everything that I've shared in the past 45 minutes, it's much more than an organization. It truly is a movement that is, we're not just saying transforming and changing lives, but it really is transforming the lives of Katie, of myself, of the over 6 million athletes across the globe, as well as families and staff and volunteers and coaches. It really is a movement that is transforming so many lives in this inclusion movement.
To me, inclusion is everybody gets a chance. Everyone has an even playing field.
Okay. Jeff and I, no, that's. I definitely want you to answer that. But we've got a bump up to introduce our final question, and so we'll perfect. But we don't just want our listeners to hear. We want our listeners to hear your story, but even more than that, we want our listeners to take inclusion, bring this inclusion movement into their towns, into their workplaces, communities, schools, and so I absolutely want you to answer that question, but we're going to roll this bumper to introduce the final question.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising. Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference. Difference.
Our demands are
equality,
dignity, and the recognition of our
shared humanity. We will not stop
or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
more divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution
is inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
Okay, we're gonna keep this inclusion talk flowing to because I know you've been at the edge of your seat to answer this. I've been at the edge of my seat as the host. Our listeners are at the edge of their seat, unless you are walking or running or you're listening to this, then maybe or walking around the house and you're listening to this, and maybe you're not at the edge of your seat because you're standing and you can't be on the edge of your seat when you're standing. But can you tell I recorded 3 interviews today and had 3 cups of coffee? 4 cups if you include the pre-show.
Pre-gaming.
Pre-gaming, yes. I've been pre-gaming with coffee and water. So I'll ask you, and this final question is also going to be included in kind of a montage episode next month in July for this series, because it's going to be a different episode than usual in July. Because we've been talking a lot about how this inclusion movement starts with sports, but this inclusion movement that is Special Olympics is about sports, health, leadership, education. And so this final question will help you will help our listeners to bring this inclusion movement into their own lives. And so what does inclusion mean to you?
Inclusion means everybody gets a chance. Everybody gets a seat at the table. Everybody has something else to offer, all equally important. And I think if we approached everything in life that way, we would all have learned so much, and we would all just grow from each other. Everybody gets a seat at the table and brings something different. You don't even know what everyone else is going to bring and offer. It's one of those, you don't know what you don't know. So if you include everybody has something to gain from it.
Awesome. That's a perfect way to wrap up. Thank you again, Cathy, for talking for the past 15 minutes. I know this was a little bit longer of extended. I think I'm going to have to talk with my content producer to restructure how we release this. Because
I talk a lot. Sorry.
Right. Well, and I was going off script a little bit too, but it's fine. So thank you again. Anytime that if you and Katie or the rest of your family wants to come back on the program, you guys are always welcome. You know how to get you all know how to get in touch with me, and hopefully my mom and I will see you in Minnesota. So I am already making notes of a few athletes, particularly Team Illinois athletes, and actually some athletes from other states to go and see and hopefully meet up. But if I want to remind all of you listening, go download we don't know the name of this app, but I think it's just search for Special Olympics USA Games. Download that app, iPhone or Android. Follow Katie. You can send cheers and applause.
Yes, that's the name of the app. Okay.
And I think that's I honestly.
I can show you what it looks like too.
Oh yeah, a listener was. I don't know if the background will look. Oh, it's the green screen is a little bit. Back up a little bit.
Right here.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, she's pointing. It's the USA Games logo. So just like that logo that the USA Games logo, Special Olympics that you guys all see if you're watching the video on the YouTube or with the audio podcast, just look for that in your iPhone or Android app store. Thank you. Anything else, Cathy, you want to say?
I was going to tell you a little secret.
Oh, okay.
Katie, come here. We're going to tell Daniel a secret. Katie got to, you may see Katie, but it's just between us.
Me and the thousands of listeners.
Oh, I was going to say, can we do it after that?
Oh, yes. After we record. Okay. Yeah. Let me do the outro, and then you can tell me the secret. Okay. Yeah.
This has been a true honor. This has been a true honor. I love that you include Katie for sure, but to include me, like I'm not worthy. So I'm so excited. So thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, we have to include families and other support.
But you don't have to include me. So thank you.
Yeah. No, my pleasure. Thank you again. Oh wait, what did I do? Sorry, what did I do? I clicked on the wrong. Okay, there we go. It's been a long morning. Right. Thank you again, Cathy, for sharing your stories, your health, and your dedication. The 2026 Special Olympics USA Games aren't just about competition, as Cathy mentioned. They're about community, connection, and the people who lift athletes up every step of the way. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and follow and share it with someone who believes in the power of support. And join us next time as we continue to highlight the incredible athletes and communities preparing for the Special Olympics 2026 USA Games. You can scan that QR code if you're watching the video on the YouTube or the Spotify, or click the link in the description below. I'm your host, Daniel Smikowski. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. And remember, choose to include.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
And we've got some exclusive news here on Special Chronicles that I would like to share with you that Katie and her mom, Cathy, shared with us as soon as we went off air and stopped recording. But I figured, well, since you guys are all going to hear this on the road to Special Olympics USA Games, we thought Special Chronicles can be the first to announce this news. Cathy's daughter, Cathy O'Neill, will be featured in advertisements on billboards in Minnesota and on social media commercials with USA Games partner United Healthcare. So that's the exciting news. Congratulations, Cathy. I look forward to seeing the ads and the commercials that will be in Minnesota. And so you all can take a picture and say that you know Cathy and her mom from Special Chronicles. And now, what an incredible look into the love, dedication, and everyday support that helps athletes thrive. From coaches to families, it's clear that the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games are powered by people who believe deeply in these athletes and their dreams. As we wrap up today's episode, let's carry that spirit forward. The idea that none of us succeed alone, and that support can change everything. And before we wrap up today's episode, we want to shine a light on the people working behind the scenes, the staff, volunteers, and local programs that make the Special Olympics movement thrive. The 2026 USA Games aren't just a moment in time. They're the result of years of community effort, leadership, and passion. And now, let me introduce you to my friend Katelin Zandi from Special Olympics Illinois staff, who will be going to Minnesota as a part of communications for Team Illinois.
This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
Special Chronicles presents Road to Special Olympics 2026 USA Games. Real athletes, real stories, real moments from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. Follow the full 10-part series at specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games. That's specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games, or scan the QR code right above. Today, we're joined by someone who embodies that spirit. Katelin Zandi, a dedicated member of Team Illinois staff who works every day to support athletes like myself, families, and programs across the state. And please put your virtual hands together as we welcome Katelin on Special Chronicles. Welcome.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi, it's good to have you on the program, and I think you've probably been following or listening or subscribing to the program for a while, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I am amazed by all that you do. I was just backstage, which is really cool. So thank you for that experience. No, you're awesome, and everything you're doing is incredible for so many. So thanks for all that you do.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe over 800 and I don't know what episode this is. When the episode drops, people will be able to see, but 800 and something. I never would have imagined the impact to still be making almost 20 years later with this program.
Yeah, absolutely. You are making a huge impact. So I hope you know that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And I'm glad to have you on. And before we dive into the reason why we're having you on, share with our listeners how we got connected as well as your day job. Because I know in the pre-show or when we were setting up this interview, you told me that your day job is not your role with Team Illinois, which we'll get to in just a moment. But before we even get to that, share with the listeners how we got connected as well as your day job.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with Special Olympics Illinois for a little over 9 years now. Started as a manager of sports, and now I am the senior director of volunteer and community engagement. So my current role, I support our staff and our volunteers and just community members in general who are supporters throughout the state. So ensuring that our volunteers are having a good experience, really helping with the recruitment, the retention, the recognition of those volunteers, and then just getting more community members involved, getting the word out about our athletes and Special Olympics Illinois, and ensuring that our staff have the resources that they need to provide quality experience for everyone involved. So in a nutshell, that is my position. Prior to this role, I was the Region C director, which Daniel is the region that you are a part of. So watched you swim, met you through that. I also oversee the athlete leadership team, which Daniel, you are an athlete leader. So lots of different ways that we have connected throughout the years for sure.
Awesome. And with your day job, we'll have to talk off air about my other employer, the number, in a way that there's a part of them that supports the Unified Work Series on this podcast. So I can say them by name, but I'll just say the number one airline in the world. We'll have to talk to off air about maybe we get some of the those employees to come in and volunteer at all.
Absolutely,
events.
I know that we have tons of them that already volunteer, and we're so grateful.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I completely forgot. I've now that you said that, it jogs my memory. I've heard many stories of those employees coming out to our spring games and other events.
Exactly.
So,
we had probably over 250 of them at our Chicago spring games.
Oh, yeah, awesome. Yeah, so if any of you are listening and you want to don't have time to come up to Minnesota, if you are in the Illinois state, get in touch with Zandi. Sorry,
it's okay. You can call me Zandi.
My name is Katelin. To get your company or get your employees to come out and volunteer at our events.
Yes, absolutely.
And they can do that by going to soil.org, or what's the best way?
soil.org/volunteers, or you can email me, K, last name Zandi, at soill.org. Yeah, we would love to have anybody and everybody who's looking to support and volunteer in Illinois throughout the entire state. Thanks for letting me plug that, Daniel. Appreciate it.
It was just an impromptu thought to add. But you have to send me that information, and I'll put that in the description for this episode. Let's now get into the main reason that we are having you on the program. And first, thank you again for being here. And to start, share with our listeners, share with our viewers what your role with Team Illinois looks like and how it connects to athletes that are preparing for the 2026 USA Games.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a unique opportunity, which I'm really excited about. I am actually covering media and communications for Team Illinois at USA Games. So I'm so excited about that because it means I literally get to be everywhere, anywhere, all the places. And I have to cover, almost everything. And I also get special access to get into different places. I get on court, different areas where I get to be, so I can get those pictures and interviews and things like that. So covering all of the media for Team Illinois so that everyone following back home and around the world can see what Team Illinois is up to. So I'm truly excited and feel honored to be able to do that, and I can't wait.
Awesome. And we should, in addition to what you're doing for Team Illinois, we should mention to our listeners, if you want to follow individual athletes, you can download the USA Games app on iPhone or Android, correct?
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
Awesome. I wasn't, I downloaded it and I wasn't even sure what the name
Yeah, I think if you just search Special Olympics USA Games, you'll find it. But yeah, it's a really awesome app, and you can follow specific athletes, and you can look at their schedule and their results, and it's looking like it's going to be super helpful for me throughout the week for sure. So
same here as well. So so folks definitely go and download that in addition to following Candy and Team Illinois. Speaking of following Team Illinois, what's the best place to? Is there a newsletter, social media? Because I know sometimes with social media it can be very crowded online there. So what's the nothing against social media, but what's the best place for our listeners and viewers to follow?
Yeah, I think our website, we have a specific Team Illinois website where different stories will be updated. But honestly, to get like the day-to-day and kind of the most updated, I would say probably our Instagram for Special Olympics Illinois. So you can just search on Instagram Special Olympics Illinois. And honestly, I know it's social media, but that would probably be the best just to stay up to date with our stories and things like that. But we also have a dedicated website as well.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I totally understand. And just like if I at Special Chronicles, I created a landing page and we've got a newsletter, but I will probably be using the Special Chronicles Instagram as well to share stories because that's usually the most easiest on the ground way to share. Let's now dive into the local impact, the local program impact. Back when I was at the World Games in Berlin, I got to speak on a panel talking particularly about athlete leadership, but it was a program. It was a panel about the local program and the impact of local programs. So Special Olympics is built, as you know, on community. Talk to our listeners about how you have seen local programs across Illinois step up to support athletes on their journey to Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously our athletes train with their local programs, which is crucial. So the support that we have from our local programs, we're a larger state, so we're not able to get everyone together to practice as often as we would like. So they're practicing with their local programs, but then they're also practicing with our USA Games coaches who are from local programs. So those coaches apply to be part of Team Illinois, and they have regular communication with their athletes across the state. I know we have 8 swimmers, and they are from the tip of the state all the way down to Carbondale. So our 2 coaches who are both from local teams, local programs, they are doing an incredible job working with them. They also work with the athletes' local teams to talk about training regimens and what that can look like. So there's so much collaboration just from all across the board, all across the state, to make sure that our athletes are well prepared and comfortable in the events that they're participating in. So without the support of our local programs, whether they're actually a part of Team Illinois or whether they are the athletes, home coaches, is crucial, because without that, our athletes wouldn't be prepared for the games. So yeah, awesome. Lots of collaboration all across the board.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. I want to just highlight something you said about the just how powerful the coaches are helping athletes train. And on this episode 4 of this series, just before or after this segment, I've had Coach Matt, who's coaching Boeing for Team Illinois. So if listeners, you can stay tuned, or either fast forward or rewind, depending on where this interview falls in the episode, and hear the coach's perspective. Let's now dive into the Midwest Pride, because these USA Games are happening in Minnesota. I thought Minnesota was up north, but I guess it's still part of the Midwest. And just like on the last episode with the Unified Partner, I thought I was good with geography, but didn't really know exactly what state was to the west of Minnesota. But with that, the USA Games, as we all know, brings together athletes from all over the country. What does it mean, particularly for Illinois athletes, to be part of something this big, this national level, especially with the games happening so close to home in the Midwest?
Yeah, I have talked with so many athletes, and going to USA Games or World Games is their goal. A lot of them have worked for years and years to have this opportunity, and it's not as simple as getting a gold medal at state and automatically advancing to USA Games, as you know, Daniel. So there is a large bidding process and lots of things that go into that to be able to go to USA Games, and so I think it's incredible that these athletes get the opportunity. And I think it's even more special that it is close to home because a lot of families get to go as well. It's drivable, obviously, from Illinois. We're taking charter buses versus flying, which I can't decide if I'm excited about that or not, but to be determined. No, it'll be a great time. And I know that although a lot of families, they can't take off work for a whole week or what have you, but they might be able to find a couple days here and there to pop up and be able to watch their athlete or, even family and friends. So I think that we'll have a big turnout with our fans because it is so close to home, which is really, really exciting. And I think, like I said, the athletes really just, a lot of them, this is their ultimate goal, is to be able to do this. So it's just really awesome to be able to watch them prepare for these games and watch them grow. And I can't wait to obviously watch them compete in a couple weeks now.
Yeah, and by the time our listeners hear this, it's happening this week. By the time you all hear this, I want to just highlight something briefly. What you said about how a lot of us athletes dream. I mean, that's one of my dreams, is to be able to compete at the USA or the World Games. And in talking with other athletes, both on the, I don't know if you can say pod waves, not radio waves, but on the pod waves as well as off the mic as well with teammates and other athletes, it really is a big dream to get selected for whether it's the national or the international level. So hopefully someday in the future, I'll get that opportunity to step away from the microphone to compete as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that for you too, Daniel. I'm sure it will happen.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'm even trying some other, one of my coworkers wants to do unified cornhole with me next year. So, and then, this is my third year competing in bocce. So I'm trying, some other sports to, because, swimming for so long, I stopped during the pandemic, and, so I'm maybe with trying some other sports, maybe that could eventually get me to the USA or the World Games.
Yeah, absolutely. It could, for sure. And, I think a lot of people don't understand the process of getting through to USA Games. And it's a very small percentage of athletes that, are able to do that. And a lot of it does just depend on, like I said, the slots that we receive. So, you can have the best athlete in the world and they might not have the opportunity to go to USA Games just because that's not where the chips fall that year or, within that timing. So if you don't make it, it doesn't mean that you're not a great athlete. For anybody listening, it doesn't determine your status, or it's not a failure if you, don't end up going to a larger games. But I know that it is a huge opportunity and a goal of many, which is an awesome goal to have.
Awesome. Absolutely. Let's now switch over to working with all different types of people. You work closely, particularly with families and coaches and volunteers. What does a strong support system look like from your perspective as a staff?
A support system of our athletes?
Yeah, of
Special Olympics.
Particularly of families, coaches, volunteers, and athletes and staff. Like your perspective of staff of that. all
yeah
working together.
Yeah, I mean, we are so privileged in Illinois that we have so many supporters who don't have one title. They're a family member, they're a supporter, they're a donor, they're a volunteer, they're a committee member. Like, we are just so fortunate that we have so many people who are ingrained in our mission and what we do, and that is truly incredible. So I think that, and then you can have somebody who might just come out to one event and volunteer their time for 3 hours. And whether your impact is small or large and year round, and you just, Special Olympics is part of your life, that what you're doing makes a difference, whether it's small or large. We can't run our events without volunteers. So if you volunteer one time, which we hope you'll have a good time and come back, and it's only for a couple of hours, you have made an impact, because we truly cannot run our events and we can't provide our athletes with these opportunities without our volunteers. So I think a support system is just somebody who's supporting in one way or another, whether it's small or large. And like I said, we have so many people who hold so many roles and positions and titles within our organization that, they are truly making a difference. So I don't think a support system per se has one picture, but if you're supporting in one way or another, large or small, it's truly impactful.
Well, speaking of that, I know that there's some, without giving any names, but those, like, I know that there's one family whose dad is a coach and a volunteer and a fundraiser and obviously a family member. And then there was another family whose dad is I think the head of the of a coach one of a OETL, who's also I just found out is also coaching his son's basketball team, and is a family member. You probably know who I'm talking about. And so it's neat that we have so many of those different titles and names, and that I wanted to also kind of add on to what you said, and you can correct me if this is totally off, but it might be on point. And that is even the people who fundraise, whether it's a polo plunge or duck derby or plane pole or all different, or the champions ball, all these different. Would you agree that even the people who are donating to these fundraising, like for example, with the plane pole, the polo plunge that we just did the beginning of this year, like all those co-workers that I got to donate to the polo plunge, they are, just by them donating $10, $20, $50, that's supporting. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yes. That is so impactful. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, Daniel. That is so crucial. And one of my goals, or just maybe a call to action, is if you are a donor, come out to a local event and see the impact that your dollars are making. I know for polar plunge, a lot of people, they're like, oh, Daniel, I love Daniel, I'm going to donate to Daniel. And yes, we love that, but you actually donated to thousands of other athletes as well. You supported Daniel, but because of your support, you're making a difference for so many other athletes as well. So if you ever see a Special Olympics event in your area, or you can check out our website, I truly kind of push that you go and see the impact and the difference that you're making, because dollars allow us to put on those competitions and those events and those athlete leadership programs. So yeah, you hit it on the head there, Daniel. Yes, everybody monetarily or voluntarily is making an impact. Absolutely.
Awesome. And this one coworker that wants to do unified bowling with me, she has, before us athletes started to work at United, she didn't have any experience with Special Olympics already. I don't think anybody with a disability. And now 7 years later, she wants to and not only not knowing anything about just about the organization overall, but she wants to even join the movement and even play unified sports. And so that's just a powerful. I'll have to let you know because I mean I'm sure the marketing team might like that. That's a powerful story right there.
Absolutely.
And it's not particularly my story, but the unified partner.
And that's a huge part of my job in community engagement is trying to educate people on the different opportunities that we have across. There's something for everybody, and I think like you talked about, donor, coach, volunteer, family member, board member, committee member. And that's unified partner. There's so many opportunities. So maybe another episode, another day, Daniel.
I know. So we're kind of going off of Team Illinois, but we'll definitely have to have you back on to kind of go more in depth about ways to get people to be involved in volunteer. Definitely, you know how to get in touch with me, so you can just reach out. Before we get to the final question, as we talk about the legacy of these USA Games, because we're gonna pull it back into the main topic of this series. Finally, what do you hope that the community takes away from these 2026 USA Games? Not just during the event, during the week and a half that we're all in Minnesota, all following along at home. I think on TV, I want to say ESPN is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that's announced yet, but by the time this gets out, it will be announced.
Yeah. But because this is not live, so by the time. Hopefully we don't have to edit that out.
You're good.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, no, actually people can watch the whole entire opening ceremonies on ESPN that Saturday, or it will be re-aired, which is really exciting.
Awesome. Yeah. So by the time you guys all hear this, definitely tune into the I think the official broadcast partner. Awesome. So as we talk about the legacy of the games, what do you hope that the community takes away from these 2026 USA Games? Not just during the event, during the week and a half that we're in Minnesota or following along at home, but long after the closing ceremony. We're going to try to kind of highlight the legacy of the games in the last couple episodes of this series on this podcast series. But from your perspective, what do you hope that the legacy of these USA Games will be?
Yeah, well, Daniel, I think that you kind of speak to it and you emanate just how capable our athletes are. Our athletes, I don't want people to focus on disability. It's all about ability and what they are able to do. And I think the games just truly help showcase that. Daniel, your podcast helps showcase that. And I hope that people follow along and just see that they're just like anybody else, and that they, like I said, it's not about their disability, it's about their ability, and they are able and should have the opportunity to compete just like any other athlete. And I think that is what is so incredible about USA Games. I mean, ESPN is covering it, which is amazing. So our athletes are going to be on ESPN just like they should be, just like every other athlete. So I hope that legacy carries on in everyday life. They can have a job, they can live independently, they can run podcasts. Like they are just like anybody else, and their disability shouldn't define them. And I know that, and I see that every day, and I want others to be able to see that. So I hope that, if people follow along USA Games or whatever it might be, that they can see just how incredible our athletes are, and that they're just like anybody else.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. And I want to just touch on one phrase that you said, that us athletes are more like than different than other people. Former Sergeant Shriver Global Messenger David Egan. I don't know if you know David Egan from Virginia, but he has a book, and actually a previous guest on this series, told me I should maybe finally read that book on the plane because I've had it sitting next to my bed for about 2 or 3 years. And so, but his book is titled More Like Than Different, My Life with Down Syndrome, I believe. And so, perfect. And that's even one of my dreams is to, by the time Special Chronicles celebrates the 20th anniversary in 2028, I would like to write a book of my memoir and story. But yeah, that's I'm glad that you highlighted that as the legacy of the games to really follow us athletes and include us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got one final question because we don't just want our listeners to learn from us and listen to our stories, but we got, as you know, the inclusion revolution is a big part of this movement, a big part of Special Olympics, and it's even a big part of Special Chronicles as well, with my volunteer business manager and content producer and copy editor. And my girlfriend Georgia it's all inclusive, both Special Olympics, Special Chronicles. And so this final question will kind of give our listeners that call to action to bring inclusion into their communities, into their homes and workplaces and schools and events. And so let's go ahead and roll that bumper to introduce that final question.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising. Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
Who has a fear of difference.
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 Our demands are
Equality.
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 dignity,
Dignity. And the recognition of our
Shared humanity.
We will not stop.
or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
More divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution.
It's inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
So just like I've done ever since I got back from the 2019 World Games, I'll ask you this as well. What does inclusion mean to you?
I think inclusion means just treating anybody like you want to be treated yourself. I think inclusion doesn't see disability. I think that inclusion, you don't have to treat somebody different just because they look differently or talk differently or act a little differently. They're just like anybody else. And I think inclusion is, treating them just like you would want to be treated, as if they did not have a disability. See their ability and not their disability.
Awesome. I love that. That's a perfect way that you explain how inclusion doesn't see disability. I think that has to be a clip that we'll have to share for this interview. And so awesome. I love that. Thank you again, Katelin, for coming on the program today, and we'll have to have you on again. Funny, even the previous guests with Coach Matt, we said, we're gonna, because CSPO is celebrating the 50th anniversary, so I said, well, we're gonna have to have him back on as well. So it's
getting a good lineup.
Yeah, I know. It's the schedule is already very full. But right. Yeah, thank you again, Katelin, for taking the time to come on our World to Special Olympics USA Games series.
Thanks for having me, Daniel. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. And thank you again, Katelin, for everything that you do and for giving us a look at the impact that local programs and staff have on this movement. It's clear that the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games are powered not only by athletes, coaches, and families, but also by the dedicated people who build community, create opportunities, and make inclusion possible every day. Thanks for listening to World to Special Olympics 2026 USA Games, a Special Chronicles podcast series. We are athletes, we are stories, we are moments from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. Catch every episode of the 10-part series at specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games. That's specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games, or scan the QR code right above. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and follow and share it with someone who believes in the power of support. And join us next time as we continue to highlight the incredible athletes and communities preparing for the Special Olympics 2026 USA Games. I'm your host, Daniel Smokowski. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode. And remember, choose to include.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
Now, let's bring today's episode home. What empowering conversations today. Hearing from both a coach and a family member and a staff reminds us that behind every athlete competing in the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games is a circle of people who believe in them, lift them up, and help them shine. The Special Olympics USA Games may be about competition, but the heart of the Special Olympics movement has always been connection. The kind that happens at practice, at home, in the community, and in the moments of quiet encouragement that no one else sees. Minnesota will host thousands of athletes this week, but it's the support system behind them that make these games truly extraordinary. Thank you for joining us for episode 4 of our series. If today's story has moved you, share this episode with someone who supports you or someone you support. And be sure to follow along as we continue to highlight the people, places, and moments shaping the Special Olympics 2026 USA Games. If you want to support these athletes on their journey, follow them on the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games app on iPhone or Android. And to follow this full series and stay connected to everything leading up to and at the 2026 USA Games, head to specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games. That's specialchronicles.com/2026 USA Games, or scan that QR code if you're watching us on the YouTube or the Spotify. And make sure to subscribe, share this episode, and continue celebrating the voices of people with disabilities. I'm your host, Daniel Smokowski, and until next time, choose to include. And a quick preview, next episode we'll be live from the games, recording on location from Minnesota, from the opening ceremony to on location interviews. Stay tuned on this road to Special Olympics USA Games, a Special Chronicles podcast series. And until next week, remember, choose to include. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Special Chronicles Podcast. Our podcast was produced by Daniel Smokowski on the Special Chronicles Network. Follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and review Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Our website, specialchronicles.com, where you can stream our archives of over 500 episodes for free. Also, there's a list of our favorites, original series, award-winning columns, and blogs. And sign up for our newsletter to receive exclusive bonus content delivered to your inbox. Again, specialchronicles.com. Special Chronicles is hosted by Podbean Podcast Hosting. Our live streams are powered by StreamYard. Thanks, as always, to our business manager, Adam Smokowski, who always encourages us to never give up. I'm Daniel Smokowski, back next week with more stories.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.